Hey, what's going on, everybody? I just wanted to jump on here tonight and really talk about getting back to the basics. You know, we've all, or most of us, have had our credit repair businesses for quite a while now. Some are starting out, some have been over a year, some maybe more. But we need to kind of clear all the air from all the different sites. Hey, Agnes, and get back to the basics. So, hey, Tayton. What up, Manny? Hey, Monique. So, I wanted to jump on and kind of say, basics. What were the basics? The basics were keep it simple, stupid, right? The KISS method. So, when you're writing your letters, remember to keep it short, sweet, and to the point. For example, when we are writing a letter, we want to go into, I disagree with what I'm seeing on my credit report, and I want you to investigate these items. Now, in reality, you don't even have to do a reason or an action. You could simply say the inquiry was not authorized, and then list out the account name and the account number for each of the accounts that you're disputing. The end of your letter would be, furthermore, in accordance with the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Public Law 91-506, Title VI, Section 611, Subsection AD, please provide the names and business addresses of each individual with whom you verified the above so that I may follow up. Send me an updated credit report after you have completed your investigation. So it's literally that simple. Now, if you're utilizing those items for your dispute letters, and I'm going to post, I don't want to do that. I'm going to post that into the group. That's an entire letter to a credit bureau. It's simple, it's short, and it's sweet. Now, we have to remember right now during COVID and all of the shutdowns and everything that's going on, the bureaus don't have time. They're reduced staff. They're not really looking at disputes. They're relying on eOscar. So if you can keep this short, sweet, and simple, that's what you definitely need to do. Now, you need to remind your clients, I need every correspondence from the credit bureaus back to you. Now, if you can get those back, that's really going to help you, because this is a round 2 letter. Round 1 looked exactly the same, but it said, to whom it may concern, the following information is incorrect. Please investigate. That was the letter. And it listed out the accounts and the items that we wanted to take a look at. So get back to the basics. Get back to keeping it short, keeping it simple. I'd like everybody to really try this. This has been working for me quite well. I know a lot of people aren't seeing results. You're going 30, 60, 90 days with no score increases. Sometimes it's random and you're going to get a huge increase, or you're going to get items deleted with no score increase. These are problems that you need to keep track of. So whether you're using CRC and you could put that in the memo section, or if you're using a different software and you're not getting, and there's a spot where you can put that memo, that's where you want to keep it, because you want to start to build a case against the credit bureau and utilize the CFPB, the Credit Fair Reporting Bureau. The CFPB basically monitors the credit bureaus and they keep them in check. Now, right now, they're kind of left field. They're not playing by the rules, so that's something that we need to keep on top of. But take a look at this letter. Take a look at how simple it is, and this letter is creating results. So, Manny, I know you said your clients are getting letters back, and online, I don't do it, so I can't help you there. Faxing, it's kind of all the same, right? So you've got faxing, you've got mailing, you've got calling it in, all the above. It really doesn't matter. But the shorter your letter can be, the better, because somebody will actually read it. Now, you don't even have to have in there the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Public Law 91-506. You don't have to have all that. Keep it short, keep it simple, keep it sweet, because you remember, you don't want it to look like somebody else's letter. I'm receiving results back. In the last 30 days, I've sent this type of letter, and all of my clients are receiving mail. They're receiving updated credit reports, and it's refreshing because just like all of you, I wasn't getting anything. I wasn't getting results. It was kind of hit and miss. My clients weren't getting anything. They were getting frustrated, and it's hard to come up with an excuse, really, of what we're doing and how to show that value to your clients. That why are they spending money with you if you're not doing anything? Because we use the federal government gave the bureaus an extra 30 days, bringing it up to 60 to do your disputes. So something that I've done as well is I've gone from 30 days to 45. So every 45 days, I'm going to update you, Mr. Client. I'm going to let you know what's happened. And before I update you, I'm going to ask you if you've received anything in the mail. Now, if you haven't received anything in the mail, then they have violated the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And I'm going to say to them, you were supposed to give me information coming back to me within 45 days. So what you're seeing out there is, and I know I just said it incorrectly, I apologize. The legal given time frame right now is 45 days from the date the Bureau receives your letter. They have 45 days to respond back. A lot of people are saying 60. I just said 60. I apologize. But it's 45 days. So that's why I've extended my time frame to 45 days for each update. But make sure you keep it short, keep it simple, keep it precise to what you're actually looking to do. Something I also want you guys to do, because I want to start giving you guys more value in the group, is what do you want to learn next? Is it further disputing? Is it building business credit? I know we have some ninjas in here. I know Agnes is a ninja on business credit. We've got quite a few people that are, but I'm looking to expand your horizons, look for different revenue streams, and really get you guys better. Now, as all of you know, I've gone into a full automation system with Derek Harper. So I do not only one-click letters, but once I onboard a client, they take over from the rest there. But I still am a part of that client's life cycle. I review the letters that are going out. I talk to the clients. I love talking to people, so that's never going to stop there. But let me know what you need from me, how I can help you, what credit reports you want to go over, and I would love to help you with that. So that's about it. Just something quick. I just wanted to remember to get you back to basics. Let's talk about, how to streamline your business, how we can make your life easier. Bankruptcy, man, it's easy. So a lot of people are like, man, bankruptcies, they're bad. Here's a simple thing. You know what? So here's what every client I'm doing that has any judgment on them. So for that client, they're going to go and they're going to ask for their report from the LexisNexis. By the time the first round comes back, where we're going to update their personal info, we're going to have that report. That client should have supplied you with that report by then. So RF means it was refinanced. Sometimes there's a mistake on there. It could mean repossession, but you need to look at the comments. The comments will tell you if it was a refinance or a repossession. Sometimes they really make that mistake on there. I had a couple today. But 9 times out of 10, it just means refinance. But after that first round that's come back, your customer's going to get their LexisNexis report. If they have not, they need to call them. Now, there's 2 ways that the LexisNexis is doing it right now because of COVID. They're either sending your client the file, which, keep in mind, mine was 750 pages long. It came in 2 boxes. It was huge. Other ways that they're doing it right now is they are giving an online delivery to their report so they can scroll through and see all the accounts. So either or, you need to have access to that report, whether it's going to be in paper or via online delivery, hopefully online delivery, because if it's paper, you have to have them send you pictures of each page that you care about. Once you get that information from LexisNexis, then you want to go into, why am I drawing a blank? And we're going to ignore that call. You want to go in and pull their public record. Now, whether that is if they have their discharge paperwork, everybody should have it. It's kind of a milestone of somebody's life. Or if you're going to go in and actually pull that, I'll post the links to where you need to do that. You need to see if there's any differences. Now, if there are any differences, then that is your reason to LexisNexis to have it deleted. Your letter is simply the name, address, LexisNexis. This item does not match anything that I've found with the courts. I've called the courts. They don't have any record of this. Delete this immediately. If LexisNexis sends you back a letter that says that they verified the item, then you need to, one of two ways. I have a letter that the court sends you, or two, you send the court a letter with a self-addressed stamped envelope and says, I have a bankruptcy reporting on my credit. I have never had a bankruptcy. Who do you report to? And the bankruptcy court will say, send you back a letter that says they do not report to anybody. So that's the biggest thing. Now you're going to take that letter and you're going to send that to LexisNexis, and it has to be deleted because it cannot be verified. You have a court document stamped by that state that says it is not verified. They don't give that information away. So I'm 10 for 10 on this. You have to go over to that. You have to get the court involved, or you have to be able to have that document from that state with the state seal to send to LexisNexis, and they will delete it. They could care less about us as consumers. So once that's deleted, then you're going to simply send a letter over to the credit bureaus and say, what BK? I do not have a bankruptcy. LexisNexis has deleted this erroneous information. Delete all accounts included in bankruptcy. Your client's scores will skyrocket up above 700, depending on if they don't have any other problems. But look, bankruptcies have become easy for me. If you have one, reach out to me. I'll help you through it. We will go through it, get the PACER report. We'll get if they don't have the bankruptcy discharge paperwork with the PACER report, then we'll go to LexisNexis. We'll verify, delete it, and then move on. On a first letter I send to the Bureau, factual dispute, a BK client tells me she got a letter. Yeah, isn't that funny? So it's crazy. I'm not going to say that Experian is going to delete it every time, because I've seen all three bureaus. You could simply say you don't agree with it and list the bankruptcy account, and they could delete it. It's crazy. Yeah, it could be a multitude of things. Jamal Monique. It could be repo, foreclosure, refinance. Just look in the comments. The comments should list that out. Another thing that I want to remind you all is when you're done disputing with your client, you've gotten everything that can absolutely come off. You should not be helping these clients past 6 months. Past 6 months, you've gone through your validation, method of verification. You've gone through your factual disputing. You've gone through your personal identifiers. You've gone through your whatever Hail Mary. You haven't responded in X amount of days. By month 6, you're done. Everything that can come off has come off. Now, if you want to keep sending random letters, that's absolutely on you. If you want to keep collecting that money, God bless you. But, yeah, Agnes, we will. We'll do a live on BK using PACER. So, but I mean, if you want to keep making that paper on that, that's fine. That's how you want to run your business. I get it. I'm with you. Make that money. But realistically, after 6 months, these customers are done. You need to move on to the next one and start over again. I'm telling my clients that their average life cycle is going to be 5 to 6 months. That's it. If I haven't been able to get the items off in 5 to 6 months, then it's not coming off. At that point, around month 5, you're looking at settlement offers. You're looking at pay for deletes from the credit bureaus. You're sending the credit bureaus, the creditors. You're sending them letters. You're sending them paper deletes, and trying to get those items settled that way. Now, obviously, the best way to increase the score is to get that account deleted. But if that's not going to happen, then, let's talk about settlement. And you want to start off your settlements at 20% or less. Now that gives the creditor time to come in and say, you know what, we counter that and we're going to go at 50%. And then you need to be, either the client needs to advocate to them via phone or through mail, best off, because you need everything in writing. But you need them to say, look, I've lost my job because of COVID-19 and I just can't do that. And I really want to pay you, but I need to get this past me. So make sure that you're utilizing this pandemic to your benefit. If it shows paid in full or settled for paid in full, that still increases the score. Now, 9 times out of 10, they're going to jack up the account when they mark that paid as full. And that's the beauty of this, because now you have another reason to go after the bureaus. Last round, kind of just Hail Mary. And then if any of your clients are going to be filing for a mortgage, you want to do a final round that says remove all comments. Any items that are in dispute or show comments in dispute, remove those comments so I can buy a house. The credit bureaus do not care about comments. They'll delete them every single time, and that'll get taken care of for you. So that's about it for today. I want you guys to start posting in the group. Tell us what your needs are, any problems, if you want to go over something. Wife's business is now up and running, so I'm back to full time. I'm still stuck at the house, although I'm taking flights for my other company. I'm here to help you guys grow. So whatever you need from me, please let me know. I'm here to help you. I want you guys to make as much money as you possibly can and take advantage of this business, because it may be challenging, it may be hard, but what money building operation isn't. So let's I'm going to do a poll in the group. What do you want to learn about? And we'll add your ideas in there. We will bring that to you. If we need a couple special guests, we'll go ahead and get those in. We've got a couple people in mind to come in and help the group for the better of your education. So I love everybody here. Thank you. Please let me know what you need. I am always available to you. And have a great Tuesday. See you later.